This week on Arizona Illustrated, the Loft Cinema in Tucson.
Most of these films that we show would not show in Tucson if we didn't bring them.
Bats in southern Arizona.
You can tell the health of the ecosystem at how well the bats are doing.
And a mushroom foray in the White Mountains. Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. The Loft Cinema is a much-beloved cornerstone of the Tucson community. The internationally recognized independent film house brings together a multi-generational gathering of cinephiles and art lovers around one common passion: movies.
The one thing that across the board in Tucson that people, even if they don't know anything about the Loft, even if they think they've never been here, when you mention that we are the theater that shows Rocky Horror Picture Show, everyone remembers that.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again.
In 1972, the Loft transitioned from basically a porn theater to an art cinema. The man who owned it gifted it to his daughter, who really wanted to run an art theater. It used to be at Fremont and 6th in a very funky space. Everybody who's ever was there will use that word. And then it moved here in '91. And then in 2000, there was a for sale sign up. I saw the sign go up and my heart stopped because I didn't think I wanted to live in Tucson anymore without the Loft. It was too central to my life. My husband and I seriously considered moving. It took us 2 years to negotiate it, but we purchased the theater in November of 2002 and turned it into a nonprofit. We closed and got the keys and were the owners and had to start running it like that day. There wasn't like a month of getting used to it, and it was sort of interesting. I was working at AZPM at the time. They say it's a 20-year plan that could well take that long to implement. I had been a journalist my whole life. I knew little or nothing about running a business, so it was sort of baptism by fire. The first year, I calculated, I think, 7 nights that I stayed up all night because there was just so much to do. And there were so few of us doing it.
And when did you start feeling like?
2006. Is that what you mean when we turned the corner and everything was fine? Yeah. I started sleeping? Yes. 2006. We had a perfect storm of events. Catalina had closed, which was a big competition. We hired Jeff as program director, and we got Brokeback Mountain, which was, until last year, our biggest box office hit.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
We never really have looked back.
It's a little overcast.
A lot of the good stories that are the most gratifying to me actually come from our Kids Fest, which is an annual event every summer.
Would you like some popcorn?
10 days, free movies. I'm Jeff Yance. I'm the program director here at the Loft Cinema.
Howdy, kids. Howdy, howdy. My name is Farmer Jeff.
I often say that I'm the cruise director of the theater.
What do you grow in your garden?
Flowers.
Flowers, come on. Come on, flower girl, come on. Please go join Shauna.
A couple of years ago, I had a parent who had a couple of kids. The dad was just so thankful. He said, I can't afford to take my kids to see movies, and they always feel left out because all their friends go to see movies and they don't get to. And the only time they get to is at your Kids Fest. And he started crying, and it was just really touching because it really lets you know that what you're doing is having an impact on people. Because that's what it's about. It's like, are you connecting with people?
When we first opened, the Arizona Daily Star did a story, and they had a sidebar called, "What is an art film?" in the 70s, every foreign film would have been considered an art film, but not so much anymore. It's a hard term to define. For me, the definition is, you know, if we show it.
When you're looking for films for the theater, you're looking for films that speak to a wide audience, but then you're also looking for films that speak to specific communities. Also, quality is great if you can find great films. I do say that not every film that we show I don't love, but I think that's the trick, is you're not programming for your own taste, and your taste is not everyone's taste. There have been films that I've been surprised that people did not like. One example was from about 3 years ago. It was a film called The Lobster.
Would you like to dance? Mind if I join you?
And it was a fairly big film. It got a lot of buzz, a lot of hype. It was at all the film festivals. I really liked it a lot. We showed it here, and I don't think I've ever had such divisive comments from our audience.
A lobster is an excellent choice.
Like a lot of people hated it. Like really, really hated it.
My name is Ariana, and this is...
I'm Jessica.
And we're here to see the Farewell right over next door, in their little garage. How often do you guys come to the Loft? I'd say like a couple times a week.
Yeah, at least once a week.
Yeah.
We're part of the Loft members, so we come quite often. Yeah. I think it adds to Tucson and like the film community, or just people that just like to come out and like watch unique things.
Yeah. It's definitely unique, just like I think the city of Tucson is unique within itself. So this just kind of adds to the flair of what Tucson is.
I think the Loft is important because it really is a venue for alternative voices and alternative visions in terms of filmmaking.
Dine. Hi. Really?
Most of these films that we show would not show on a movie screen in Tucson if we didn't bring them. I think films really offer a window into cultures that you may never have any contact with or experience with. So that's part of our mission, like to find those kind of films, to give people that window into a broader perspective.
The other thing I love about the Loft is it doesn't look like a chain. You come into the Loft and you know you're not at a corporate chain theater, and you know you're not in Texas, and you know you're not in California. It's pretty Tucson. You know, and I think that local kind of funkiness of our theater is very specific to Tucson. In 2017, we finally got around to renovating Screen 1. We were able to take that 500-seat, it was 20 rows of 25 seats. There were good things about it, but there were more bad things about it than good things. And the fact that the seats were so uncomfortable, most of them, they were like sitting on coat hangers. And so we were able to do this major renovations from ceiling down. I mean, everything is new in there, except for the gold drapes. It's kind of going from coach to upgraded coach. Not business class all the way, but you know, we'll never do that. Our model is more to focus on making the experience of seeing and hearing the film as good as it could possibly be.
Actually, this is a signal of our success, I think, is that we do not have enough screens to show all the films that we could be showing and to accommodate all the audiences we could be accommodating. So that's a real dream, is to add another screen or two.
Things are so different today than they were in 2002. So many people are staying home and watching things on their iPads or their phones or their big TVs or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that, but people that leave their home and come here and the lights go down, the big screen lights up with a film, then that group of people is a community, you know, and they're sharing an experience.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
So I think it's more than a movie theater. It's a real kind of community space, which is really what we strive to be.
It's just the best place in town for me.
Bats have long carried an unfortunate reputation as symbols of darkness, linked to vampires and disease and evil. Yes, they are creatures of the night, but they also control insect populations and pollinate a wide diversity of plant species, making them an essential part of a healthy ecosystem.
My name is Debbie Beecher. I'm a wildlife biologist, but I specialized in studying bats. I grew up in northern Wisconsin, and we lived in a very old house, and we had bats in our attic. We moved in when I was 7 years old. So since I was 7, I have known about bats. I came out to Arizona to go to college. I got my master's here in Sabino Canyon. I captured 17 different species of bats, looking at activity levels, resource use, and the species diversity. Bats only have one pup a year, and so with one pup a year, and in some species there's 40% mortality in the young of the year, so it's hard to maintain a population. Someone goes in and kills some bats. To recover that population again is not easy. You can tell the health of the ecosystem at how well the bats are doing. This is August 1st, and we really have not had monsoons yet, so the creek has not flowed, and that's rather unusual. And normally the creek is flowing and there's plenty of water, but the bats are now stressed. Lactating females need water through July, and the effort to find water could be stressing them. It's a gorgeous temperature in the water. Water here, if you set a net, you're going to catch a lot of bats because they're not expecting it. The net was not here last night. You always take a bat out, the reverse that it went in. And I could tell that it had come in from upstream. So I came onto this side of the net and plucked him out. So this is the smallest bat species in North America. They're common here in the canyon. They're called a canyon bat because they love canyon lands and they live in little crevices. So this is a little male. It's a boy. So I'll get out of the way of the net and let's go up and process this. You're going to be nice and plump. Yes, you're going to be nice and plump. All righty. And that's everything for you. We'll put a little dab of white out just to make sure we don't get you again. In Arizona, we have 28 different species, and we're a state with one of the largest species diversity. You ready to go? There you go. Part of that is because of our topographic variation. Sonoran Desert, Great Basin Desert, and Chihuahuan Desert. But then we have grasslands and all the Sky Islands and the Mogollon Rim. And so we have these stacked biotic communities which provide bats with different microclimate, temperatures, humidity, food, prey, availability to water, different roost sites. And so that allows us to have that diversity because there are all those niches for different species to make a living. But we have a number of bats that are living right here in Sabino Canyon and tolerating the heat. Oh yes, you're a very pleasant animal. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Bugs in my throat. I don't understand what the bats see in them. We always joke, the buggier the night, the better the bats. This is a tree bat. These are quite uncommon. We don't tend to get many of these. This is an extremely cool bat. Tonight we caught the leaf-nosed bats, the Mexican long-tongued bat here, so they're a nectar bat. They would be feeding on the agaves. The evening bat, many Vespertilionids. And the freetails. We caught the Brazilian freetail bats, and they're probably coming from the bridges in Tucson, coming up here to get water and to feed on the insects. We had lots of insects. So that's bat food, and so there's plenty for bats to eat. I do a lot of schools, public outreach. They can hear about bats and they think bats are interesting, but then they see a bat in the hand and then they're hooked. So Eumops pirotis is the scientific name. Western Mastiff is the common name, and we call her Maggie.
Maggie.
Well, it is dinner time. When a bat echolocates, it shouts out a pulse of sound, and that travels out, and it hits something and it comes back, only in echoes. And it would be like you're walking, maybe everyone has, they walk down a narrow canyon and they go, hello, and you can sometimes hear, hello, 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 come back, and all you're hearing are the echoes of your call. And that's what bats are doing.
I was really interested in this kind of field school because there's nothing like this where I come from. But I've always known like they were one of our major pollinators for the hashan, the saguaro fruits. And to know that there's actually work being done and like people staying up late to even count them, I'm just really excited.
There are over 1,300 different kinds of bats worldwide, and they have different colors, different shaped ears. They forage on different foods. All right, bat number 30. We'll see what that is. I've been studying bats a bit over 30 years. I call myself the crazy bat lady because I'm so fascinated with bats. Bats have been good to me. Wildlife has been good to me. Yeah.
Our monsoon has underperformed this year, but the rains have been enough to bring some new life to the deserts and forests of Arizona, including mushrooms. Mushrooms are vital to decontaminating soil and keeping carbon out of the atmosphere. We went to the White Mountains to learn more about this mysterious fungi.
Wow. Aren't they beautiful though?
Okay, my name is Dr. Chester Leathers. I'm a professor, retired. Well, I founded the Arizona Mushroom Club about 35 years ago. I held the office of president, treasurer, corresponding secretary, financier, etc. I enjoyed the study of mushrooms under the world's authority. Dr. Alexander Smith. He was filled with enthusiasm. I probably inherited some of that enthusiasm from him. I am still interested in fungi and mushrooms and hope to continue, although I'm 91. I hope to continue for another 10 years.
Every single one of these holes here is where a rodent dug up a truffle, or a hypogeous fungus. A hypogeous means below ground. A hypogeous fungus, and ate it. And so they eat these things and spread the spores all over. So we're just looking for that, and we're going to these places and raking back the duff. And there they are.
Look at that.
And so we can rake it back a little bit more. There's another one.
Wow.
But where you have all digs concentrated in an area like this, you have a potential for a lot of truffles.
Oh, there's another one.
There's a whole nest of them.
Wow. Wow. Cool.
And then and also once you're done, just cover that area back up. Do your landscaping, replace your divots. In a few days.
So the whole process to dyeing with mushrooms can be very simple. You have to acquire the mushrooms, and then you break them up into small pieces, and you simmer them for about an hour, and that allows all of the dye molecules to extract from the fungus and just swim around into the dye liquid. And then you put your fiber in there, and then you have dyed fiber. And these mushroom dyes work best with protein-based fibers. So we're talking wool, silk, alpaca. If you want to get into mushroom dyeing, you want to look at your protein fibers for the best results.
Who are you with?
Arizona Mushroom Society.
Okay.
We go on forays all over the place.
Okay.
This is a Cortinarius, and Cortinarius and Amanita are the two most deadly of all mushrooms.
Okay.
And so, and quartz are very hard to tell, but so you want to just learn a few simple ones and stay with those for a while.
Right.
And the safest one is this one right here.
But they were in the same bag, so you probably wouldn't eat it anymore.
No, it's all right. It's not that. You're going to cook it.
Okay.
You're going to cook it well.
Yeah.
Cook that cap and eat it. And then this is nice and fresh. You could cook that. And you could even eat the stem here, but just clean it up.
Okay.
Unless it's buggy, and then just cut it off.
Most people have an association with store-bought varieties and species of mushrooms. I haven't tasted anything on the shelves that I would say compares to naturally occurring mushrooms.
These are all edible, except for I don't know, these three here, I don't know if they are. But this is all edible, yeah.
Oh, so this is a honey mushroom.
Yep, these are honeys, yep.
I do. Okay.
Where's your basket at? Cool.
Come here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's the mirror there.
Yeah, we found this. Looks like cauliflower.
But this is edible, just try a little bit of it first. Yeah, you guys did good.
You did really good.
Again, I'm an obsessive mushroom hunter, and I always have way too many mushrooms. And so I was looking for new ideas on how to use them, because even as a chef, I kind of fall back on the same ideas all the time. Another thing is that I wanted to explore, there's a lot of mushrooms that are popular in other cultures that are not popular here. Huitla coche is a fungus that grows on corn. Each little kernel gets filled with this fungus, and it's really kind of scary looking. And when American farmers find it, they basically tear out their crops because they think it's the end of the world. In Mexico, when they find it, they do a happy dance and they go to the market because they know that they can sell it for 10 times as much as they can sell the corn. So I thought it would be a fun one to share with you guys. The one edible that seems to be everywhere is the aspen bolete lexinum. And so I made this leather with a bunch of lexinum. I want you guys to taste this. Yeah, you can pass those out now. It's actually pretty dense, and it becomes a pretty filling snack if you take it with you.
This is a hat that is made from the Amadou Mushroom. I got it from a guy in Romania. There's only 8 people in the world that can make this hat. I've been coming here for about 3 years already. Just basically here to learn more about mushrooms and to forage and just be part of the mycophile community. In the conference room, I have basically a table that I set up at my market in Tucson. And it's got all my extracts for pain, for anxiety, for sleep, for the immune system, for nerve regeneration. All of these extracts are mostly mushroom-based. My dad had 3 consecutive strokes, and he had partial paralysis in his body. The doctors kind of just sent him home that way and said, you know, we can't really help him get any better. Kind of destroyed his life. He went into a depression because of that. I decided that moment that I would do something to help my dad. Upon all this research that I did, I came across a mushroom called lion's mane, and he was taking the extract that I made. After 6 months, he says, son, hey, I can move my fingers again. He started moving his hand. Slowly he recovered all the parts of his body that had paralysis previously. That mushroom kind of led me to other mushrooms. And that's how I got into the mushroom thing. After my dad recovered from paralysis, my grandmother said, hey, there's this big mushroom conference in the White Mountains. Would you like to go to that? And I said, well, I've never been to anything like that, but sure. And I just came out here and I fell in love with this.
Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. See you next week.